I spend too much time online. I spend too much time on my phone. I go to add something to my grocery list and end up swiping past some social media app and get sucked in. And 20 minutes later, I forget why I opened my phone in the first place. Was I going to check the weather? What was I doing? Where am I? Our attention is tied, maybe handcuffed to the attention economy. We're constantly being lured into wasting way too much time on our phones. And if you talk to a lot of people, you hear that they wish they spent less time on their phones. And if you wish you didn't do something, but you still do it, I'm pretty sure this is getting close to the definition of an addiction. And I believe we all have dreams and goals that this addiction gets in the way of. Me, I want to write. I want to make more YouTube videos. I want to work on this zine idea that I have in the back of my mind that I want to share with you. So like any addiction, we need to admit that we're an addict, that we're never going to be cured, and we need to start fighting that uphill battle to reclaim our time. Because there's just way too much stuff I want to do. Personally, I'm making progress in building a creative practice, something I've never really had. However fragile and shaky my footing is right now, because the attention economy, all of these things, they run on your eyeballs and they won't stop. They want all of you. I'll mention some products and brands, actually really just one device. Ironically, it's a device, but none of this is sponsored. In fact, I always recommend putting off purchasing the thing until later. It's way too easy for us to justify buying something that promises to help or is a shortcut or a fix. These things rarely are the fix you need. The answer is usually less, not more. When I was traveling this spring, I was packing pretty minimally and I couldn't take a lot of books, so I borrowed my daughter's Kobo e-reader. It's an e-ink device, and I kind of fell in love with it. I could download as many books as I wanted on it, and it's a lot more comfortable to read. It takes up a lot less room. And I'll talk about e-ink in a second. But digging into this Kobo, into this e-reader, I found an app called Pocket. Pocket was, because of course in July they shut down, but Pocket was a read it later app. One of the problems with social media is that you see an article that's interesting, that it's probably something you would like to read or should read. You start to read it, you get through the first paragraph, and then you realize now is not the best time. So what do? You text it to yourself, you open it in a browser tab that you will forget about in 3 months and accidentally close. When it comes to long-form articles or journalism, now is rarely the best time. On that trip I went on, our group chat was always filled with articles that we had talked about during the day. I could simply tap on an article, share it to my Read It Later app, and when I was alone in my hotel room, on a bus, traveling, I could slowly make my way through those articles when the time was right. So with Pocket closing down, Kobo just announced they're partnering with Instapaper. So I looked into Instapaper, and that's now the Read It Later app that I'm using. You install the app on your phone. You can modify your share menu. So Instapaper is one of the first apps shown. And whenever you see an article in whatever browser you are looking in, even if it's Threads or wherever, Reddit, someone's linking to an article, you open the article, you hit the share button, the Instapaper app is right there. I've even installed a browser extension, so any web page I'm on, I can share to Instapaper. I tap the eye, it's saved for later, it has a home. And you don't have to just share articles, you can share whole websites, you can share anything that is too long to read right now or is uncomfortable to read on your iPhone, something you want to read later on your computer at home, on your iPad. Instapaper even has its own email address. So if you get even a newsletter that you don't want to read in your inbox, you can quickly forward it to your Instapaper, delete it from your inbox, and read it when you have time. Also, did I mention that I have a newsletter? Nudge, nudge, link is below. So let's move on to that device that has had a net positive effect on my life. I mentioned Instapaper. Where do I read all of these articles that I save? You could read them on an iPad. You could read them on your computer on a Saturday morning. But for me, I love reading them on my new e-ink device. This is the Onyx Books Palma 2. I did a bunch of research for screen that is e-ink, comfortable on the eyes, but with a fast enough refresh rate to be used for typing. There are standalone minimal devices for writing, sort of like the Free Write and other stuff like this. but I didn't want this to be stuck to just one use. I do kind of like some multi-purpose tools. What I like about this device is that it's essentially an Android phone without cellular. I can download any app from the Google Play Store. I can download my Kobo, my Kindle, my Libby app for library books. I can add public domain books from Project Gutenberg, but most importantly, I can hook up a Bluetooth keyboard, and this device, which is rare for e-ink, is fast enough for me to type on. Unlike some other standalone typing devices, I can type directly into Google Docs and it's easy access on my laptop later. So what's so great about e-ink? E-ink is incredible. It's been around for a while. It's sort of like a high-tech Etch-a-Sketch. What you see on the screen is not an LCD. It's actually physical particles in little capsules. A group of them are white, and with the opposite charge, a group of them are black. And when an electrical charge is applied to these physical particles, the corresponding color rises to the top. So what you see on the screen is physical. It's the closest thing to ink on paper. And another cool part of it is that when you turn a page and a new group of pixels are displayed in a certain way, that change is permanent, held flicker-free, a physical state until you force the screen to change, which means there's no refresh rate, there's no flickering. Or even if the battery dies, that image is held. This is what makes it like paper when it comes to eye comfort. It's so fun to take anywhere and write. It loves a bright, sunny corner where an LCD device, like the vampire it is, forces you to seek darkness. The only downside, which is sort of its upside, is that every once in a while the screen needs to go through a big, slow refresh to keep the image clear and reduce ghosting. For an e-ink device, this one's refresh rate is exceptional. You can even see video on it, which is pretty wild when you think of older e-ink devices. But I think the cumbersome refresh rate makes this a Goldilocks device. It's fast enough to type on, but not fast enough to scroll comfortably or watch videos. Who knew a key benefit of my new favorite device would be its slowness? This is quite literally the anti-TikTok, anti-dopamine device. My rules for this device is no social media apps. Not that they would be comfortable to read. Also, it's allowed in the bedroom. I'm reading a book on it right now, and Saturday mornings are great to catch up on all my articles on this thing on the patio. How do I write on it? It has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so I can pair any full-size keyboard and type comfortably, and it's perfect for fly-by-the-seat-of-your-pants first draft writing. My last newsletter, this script, at least the first drafts, were typed with a clacky keyboard I sort of bought on a whim. I'm not sold on the mechanical keyboard yet. I haven't noticed any speed benefits to it. The sound is kind of nice. It makes it feel like I'm making progress. And I love the screen so much that I'm thinking of buying its big brother for bigger article reading. On Libby, you can download actual full-size magazines, as well as just have a bigger view of what I'm writing, creating a modern typewriter. Well, I struggle with the idea of morning papers. I've tried. I don't really have writer's block yet. I have a lot of other problems. But I like the idea of e-ink and a Bluetooth typewriter being something I sit with every day. I need to take that next step and start typing. The professional shows up every day to write whether they want to or not. Thanks for watching. Thank you for listening to my rants about creativity and the process and what I'm trying to do. If you're interested in what I'm talking about, subscribe to my newsletter, check out my links below, and I'm excited to work on some fun creative projects that I want to share with you. I have one right outside the door here, which is going to be a riot of a video, some big physical thing I'm building. Keep fighting the good creative fight. Keep following your heart. All right.